Tonight, 7 News headlines are tears for one of rugby league's original immortals. Bob Fulton, remembered as a legend of Manly in Australia, the great of the game lost his quiet battle with cancer at the age of 73. The state government appears to have pulled off a political miracle, with the Nationals reclaiming the Upper Hunter seat in a crucial by-election. It set the stage for a cabinet reshuffle this week. A man's been stabbed and his granny flat set alight in a home invasion at Greystanes. Police believe it was a case of mistaken identity. A second Mercy flight has arrived from India as the government made a new vaccine promise. Health chiefs say there'll be enough doses of the Pfizer shot to vaccinate every Australian by Christmas. And Australian TV icon Lorraine Desmond has died at the age of 91. She graced our screens for more than half a century and is being remembered as a singer and actress with an enormous heart. An overhaul of sexual consent laws in New South Wales is set to be announced this week. Cabinet is expected to review a draft plan tomorrow by the state's Attorney-General Mark Speakman. It's in response to a review by the Law Reform Commission, which recommends the law affirm that consent has not been given unless participants communicate that consent through words or actions. Eurovision is back. Cancelled last year because of COVID, 26 finalists went head-to-head in the Netherlands this morning, all vying for the coveted title of Eurovision champions. But there could only be one winner. And a spoiler alert, we will be revealing who took top spot.
Let's set a fire! Let's go!
A blast of light and colour which can only mean one thing. Eurovision finals are here. 26 nations, only one winner. Our act, Montaigne, knocked out. For those still in it, with 180 million people watching, there was no holding back. France and Switzerland quickly took the lead, but then it was the public's turn to vote, and all eyes were on one country, Italy. The glam rockers blowing their competition out of the water.
We just want to say to the whole Europe, to the whole world, rock and roll never dies!
COVID did little to dampen the party atmosphere.
Look at my pants, I think it describes really well how it's going.
Cancelled last year, Europe's biggest music competition, back with a bang. Christian Gaupset, 7 News.
There's a push for more hospitals to use a test which could save the lives of mothers and babies. It's used to predict a complication that can prove deadly.
Katie James is now a mother to 3 healthy boys, but when she was 28 weeks pregnant with her daughter Ivy, she developed preeclampsia.
Ivy was delivered that afternoon and was going really well.
But baby Ivy didn't survive.
When she was 2 days old, they did a brain scan and discovered that due to the preeclampsia, my placenta had ruptured, which caused a massive brain bleed for Ivy.
The Royal Women's Hospital is the first in Australia to roll out a test for preeclampsia, which measures 2 proteins in the blood released by the placenta.
We can develop a ratio which gives us a very good way of predicting who will and who will not be developing preeclampsia in weeks to come.
After losing baby Ivy, the test gave Katie the confidence to try again.
It was pretty scary to attempt another pregnancy.
The deadly pregnancy complication affects 1 in 20 women. It involves the development of high blood pressure, and there are a number of other symptoms women need to look out for.
Headaches, unremitting. Also, if there is sudden swelling of the ankles or legs or hands.
But this new test could change all of that.
To be able to pick up on it as quickly as you can, to act on it straight away is vital.
Melina Saris, 7 News.
Black leather was swapped for suits and bow ties today as well-dressed motorcycle riders hit the streets across Sydney. 700 took part in the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride to raise funds for the men's charity Movember. The vintage ride has raised more than $35 million for mental health programs and prostate cancer research. A teenage boy is making a remarkable recovery after crashing into a kangaroo during a go-kart race at Lithgow. His family and doctors say he owes his life to his helmet.
In the need for speed, competitive go-kart racing has its risks. Collisions, crashes and in Lithgow, kangaroos.
To entertain a kangaroo coming onto a track is just bizarre.
13-year-old Nick Follows was racing earlier this month when a roo jumped onto the track.
You all good, Nick?
Wiping Nick from the race.
Landed on the front, snapped all this up, and my head went bended back, and I kind of slid forward in the cart and banged my head on the exhaust, and it's melted a bit of the back of the helmet.
The kangaroo died. Nick was flown to Westmead Children's with doctors bracing for the worst.
I think I was going like 80 kilometres at the time when the kangaroo hit me.
A collision happening at 80 kilometres an hour is frequently fatal under similar conditions.
Incredibly, Nick walked away with just 2 broken fingers, doctors crediting his helmet for saving his life. Already this year, more than 69 children have been admitted to hospital at Westmead, suffering injuries from recreational vehicles like go-karts, scooters and bikes. Of the bike injuries, a quarter weren't wearing a helmet.
There is absolutely no doubt that helmets save lives. If Nick hadn't been wearing a helmet in this situation, he might well have died.
It's estimated wearing a helmet reduces the risk of serious head injury by 70% and the chance of a fatal injury by 65%, with experts urging parents to lead by example.
The biggest influence on kids wearing helmets is their parents. So wearing a helmet in activities where we expect our kids to.
Amber Laidler, 7 News.
Tourists have been replaced at one of the world's most famous destinations. Bears are now roaming the ruins at Peru's Machu Picchu. Usually crawling with sightseers, the heritage attraction is people-free due to pandemic restrictions, leaving the way clear for Andy and bears to enjoy the spectacular sight. Now, closer to home, here's Angie with Sydney's weather.
Thanks very much, Mark. Cloud cover and light winds have led to the city's warmest night in a week. Our low was 10.5 degrees. That is still below average for this time of year, but a big improvement on the single digits of last week. The top was quite nice too, 20.3 degrees. Our west didn't enjoy the full benefit of that milder morning. Camden started the day with a chilly 3 degrees, 4 at Richmond. Tops were more consistent though, ranging only by a few degrees. So 19 degrees at the airport and Cronulla, 21 for Bankstown. It was a fine day for most suburbs with just some light showers limited to the northern beaches, about 1 millimetre in the gauge. If we pick up the latest satellite image, you'll notice our state is generally cloud-free. It's just those onshore winds that are pushing light showers onto the coast. Tomorrow, a high will continue to direct those onshore winds over the state's east, and that will trigger continued showers, but they will be patchy, so hitting some suburbs and completely avoiding others, just like today. To the capitals for tomorrow, Brisbane will be partly cloudy, heading for a top of 24 degrees. Canberra staying fine, although pretty cool, 17 degrees. Melbourne, partly cloudy, 19. It'll be an overcast day for Hobart with a top of 18. Adelaide's looking good, settled, 25 degrees. A chilly one for Perth, showers easing and a top of just 16, and it will be fine and very warm up north in Darwin, 32 degrees. Statewide, here you can see the ongoing showers over coastal spots right across the coastal strip. In terms of temperatures, no significant change. So we're looking at low 20s for most suburbs. Bathurst will be a little bit cooler though, aiming for a top of just 17, and Mudgee should get to 19. Around Sydney, expect some light showers again, but they are most likely to develop in the morning and early afternoon, so plenty of fine periods as well. Top of 20 degrees at Manly, 18 at Springwood. Katoomba will be the coolest, just 14 degrees there. On the water, variable winds will run at about 10 knots at first, then becoming east to northeasterly up to 15 knots by evening. For the CBD, tonight should be warmer than what we've been used to, back up to 13 degrees for a low. The top will be 22. That is above average for this time of year. And those light showers, well, they're only likely to amount to a couple of millimetres. To the week ahead, fine conditions return for us on Tuesday. Wednesday, though, is looking the warmest, 14 degrees, the low in the city, and tops reaching 23 for both the city and our west. All the way through, minimum temperatures look okay here, but by this time next week, showers will put a lid on daytime conditions, not quite making it past the high teens. A little bit chilly during the day, but nice to see some warmer mornings finally on the way, Mark.
Warmer mornings sound very nice. Thanks, Angie. That is 7 News for this Sunday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.